What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and welcome back to our Life is Strange community series, a community series that airs on our channel every other week where we talk about all things Life is Strange related. Now, we've talked a lot about just random different topics in Life is Strange recently. I kind of wanted to take it back, go back to my roots in terms of me not being happy with Season 2, and discuss another element of Episode 4. Now that we're just a little while away from Episode 4, now we're going to be live streaming this game on the channel. We're going to be playing it live for you guys, and then we're going to be doing a review the day after. I'm very, very excited to do that. I really hope you guys, especially even those that don't like me or don't like the opinions I have about this game and episode, I hope you guys really come by and just watch. I really would love to talk to you guys while we're playing it. So I just wanted to quickly plug that because I feel like this is either the second to last or last community series video until we play Episode 4. And that's why I want to make this video talking about why I think Episode 4 is totally unnecessary. How I really don't think there's going to be anything brought to the table in this episode, especially for me, I guess, that can deliver just about anything. And again, I understand we have differences of opinions. I understand that this video is going to get downvoted quite a bit and that you guys are not going to agree. Here's the thing, and I always go back to it, is just the weaknesses that I find with this season of Life is Strange. And more importantly, really, what Episode 4 is setting up. And here's the thing, I'll try and be a little fair to it just for this one time in this one video, in that I believe that Episode 4 of all episodic games do tend to run into this problem where they are filler episodes. More than that is I find that even in the best episodic games, Life is Strange, the first one, I find to be, I think, my personal favorite episodic game of all time. They all tend to have at least one episode that is purely filler. I think it's one of the things that we first found out back with the Telltale's Walking Dead game. You know, the first season of that game was so special and so amazing, but even in that, it did feel like at times episodes 2, 3, and 4, especially I think 3, and even more especially 4, they felt like filler. They felt, and that's a problem that you don't have necessarily with a, say, a AAA, just a 10-hour single-player game, or not even AAA. It could be any single-player game, but, you know, is there like a part in the middle of that game that you find is unnecessary and doesn't need to be there? Yeah, I mean, filler in general is the biggest problem. It's something you always try to avoid whenever possible in entertainment. Movies, television, video games. It's the hardest thing to avoid, and it's something that always pops up, and I just feel like you tend to see it a little bit more with episodic games because the nature that they are episodic and you get them once every so often and you're trying to set up the next episode and you're following the episode before, I feel like it's easier to spot a filler episode in a TV show and an episodic game than it is just a 10-hour game you get, because then you can maybe make the debate. But when you're an episodic game, especially a game like this, Life is Strange Season 2, you know, I've made the argument, I've talked about how awful I think the release schedule is. Getting a game or getting an episode every 4 months is pathetic, and then when that episode comes out, if it's just purely filler and it's setting up for the next episode, which they expect to be better, then it's like, well, why did I waste my time doing this? Now I really waited 8 months between good episodes, and I don't think there's been one good episode this entire season, but if Episode 4 is a filler and it is unnecessary, then you've basically played Episode 3, and then you have to wait probably, what, 7 to 8 months to then play Episode 5 coming out in early December. To me, I just 100% see Episode 4 as something that I feel like is going to be that. And funny enough, and here's the thing, because you know how much I hate this game, at the same time, I feel like this episode also has the most potential to surprise me and be generally good. It seems like it's just Sean. It's him on the road, right? And it's him after the aftermath of Episode 3. Now, this has a good and bad opportunity there because I think Sean's character is the stronger of the two. He's not whiny, he's not a brat, he's not a baby, you know, he doesn't have temper tantrums. I like that. At the same time, he's very, very hard to relate to, and he's very unenergetic. He has no energy to him. I think the performance-wise, I think the actor, I'm sorry, I don't think he does a good job. Maybe it's the direction there, but I feel like he's got no energy, no personality. He's a boring, boring character, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I don't like Sean. I don't like Daniel. I actually hate Daniel. I hate him for different reasons. But the fact that this really seems like it's just going to be Sean's journey, which I assume is going to end with the episode in general, it's going to end with them meeting back up. I 100% think we're going to meet back up with Daniel. I don't think, and that's just my prediction, I don't think we'll go into Episode 5 still apart. And so maybe there's going to be that loneliness kind of journey, you know, like how he's like walking on that road that we see in the preview for it. And oh, by the way, at the time I'm recording this video, there is no trailer, so I don't know if the trailer comes out for it. That would make what I just said outdated, I guess, but I am not recording this with any trailer in mind. So this is just my opinion going off of what we got at the end of episode 3. And to me, and no matter what, I don't care if there is a trailer, if there isn't, I don't think it's going to make a difference. None of the trailers have made any difference in my opinion in the first place. It's just that with this game in general, I feel like they've all been filler episodes, and I feel like they've always done the same thing where it is kind of expanding the area that Sean and Daniel are in, giving us some characters to kind of like figure out what they're all about and to get into connection with Sean and Daniel, and then there's just a big moment, like a jaw-dropping moment, which becomes less and less jaw-dropping every single time at the very, very end, and it's kind of that build-up, and you know something big's gonna happen, and then something big does happen. Now, technically, the season 1 of Life is Strange had that as well. Every episode, I think, ended very, very big, but I just feel like it had way more emotional power, way more unpredictability. I didn't know that those things were going to happen. You didn't really. There were some very, very big moments in the middle of episodes in season 1, and we do not get that here. It's just basically at the end of the episode. So, to be honest, going into episode 4, maybe I'm going to just make my expectations that I fully expect 2 hours of just a snooze fest, just a bore fest of me just playing a game. I don't even know, like walking down a street or something, and at the end of it, something big will happen. Maybe you just meet Daniel at the end, and that's it. But, I made a video a while back even maybe before the season started or right after episode 1, I talked about all the things that this season needs to do. And I was thinking about, like, revisiting that, but to tie it into this video, because none of those things happened, because they didn't do those and they made it worse, and I think the things I proposed and the things I wanted to see from this game back after episode 1 of what this game needs to establish, what it needs to do in order to make it a really good game, I don't think I was being unfair. I think those are legitimate things that a lot of games, especially good games, actually have, and we have not gotten it from this season. So going back to those things, having a villain, it's too late. It's too late for all these things. I don't relate. I don't care about these two characters. Daniel's power, it's just the Force, guys. He can move rocks. It's not that cool. It's actually pretty stupid. That's all it is. And he's just a 9-year-old who can't control his powers. There's really no relationship there. All it is them bickering and hating each other and kind of setting up one of them to kill the other at the end of episode 5. It's so predictable. And even if it doesn't happen, I bet you'll just be some other stupid ending. I don't think it's actually going to be good. So you got that. Again, the villain, like, they never made a villain. I guess Sean and Daniel are each other's villains. I guess, I don't know, the journey to Mexico is the main goal, and there's really no overarching goal or overarching story. There's nothing bigger than them. It's just them going to Mexico. Could they turn around and explain this to the cops? Sure they could. Could they go back with his friend, with Lila or whatever her name is? Sure they could. They could do all those things. They choose not to, though, because story, because they're forcing it on you. That's all it is. I mean, it's not realistic, and I guess, again, time travel isn't realistic either, but it kind of is. And I think the believability of season 1 was 1,000 times better than this one. So it's too late to add a villain. There's no, they're not going to create a tsunami. They're not going to create a meteor shower because of his powers. Nothing like that. And again, I didn't need like a tornado that's going to hit Arcadia Bay and hit the tower. I didn't need that again. But if they weren't going to do that, I wanted a villain, an actual person that I could see as a villain. I thought racism would be that, and to be honest, I didn't like it. I really didn't like that they were trying to go after that in episode 1, but it seems like ever since then, they really haven't doubled down on it, and honestly, I feel like that makes it even more stupid that they do something like that they try and propose what they think of America as, not being Americans, not in general, and then they kind of give that out to you, and you get either mad or you're maybe happy that they're taking jabs at America or whatever, and then they don't really put their money where their mouth is, and they don't do anything with it later. So racism isn't the villain. I mean, you could go back to the cops shooting the dad, all that stuff, but I mean, racism, really, they didn't make that a villain like I thought they were going to, and I wouldn't have been happy if they did anyway, but there's no villain. There's no nothing. There's no nothing in this game, and I feel like episode 4 is going to come and go, and nothing's going to be established. They're not going to improve on anything. And that's honestly just what I feel like they've done all along. Episode 1, I had such high hopes for. Episode 2, I jumped into, and they didn't build. They didn't build, and all they've done is broken down and made me wait. And now here we are again, and this is the biggest problem. We're waiting months. We are waiting so many. Between the time that episode 1 and episode 5 are going to come out, even episode 4. Episode 4 comes out late August. Season 2, the first episode came out late September. It's been 11 months. We've only gotten 4 episodes in 11 months, and they've been awful. They've been awful, in my opinion. They've been terrible. This is bad. And by the way, if you guys didn't realize, we've spent more money on this than we did season 1. This was $40 if you bought it when it came out. And if you supported season 1 and you love season 1 like me, I think this was a slam dunk. Like season 2 gets announced, oh, I'll just buy the season pass. Which also, they kind of handcuff people because you couldn't buy anything but the season pass or episode 1 and then 2 through 5 as a bundle. They just recently, over the last couple months, allowed you to buy each episode individually because they didn't have that feature in there. BS, that's garbage. That is a huge mistake. You don't even give people the opportunity to play each episode on their own. What if they don't like it and want to bail? I certainly would. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would have bailed on this a long time ago. But I like making these videos because I like getting the hate back from you guys. So, there's just a lot of stuff there. And 11 months in, I don't see how they can make episode 4 productive. And again, I know a lot of people are going to disagree, and that's fine. That's fine. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think they're going to do? What do you think episode 4 is going to do? Can they save it? Does it need saving? It probably doesn't to a lot of you. But what are you expecting? Like, are you expecting episode 4 to just set up episode 5? Are you expecting something in particular from this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Definitely want to hear it. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, even more the people that watch and don't agree with what I'm saying, but at least understand and follow through. And those are the people I respect the most, people that watch these videos and maybe don't agree with what I'm saying, but at least they'll watch and they'll hear me out. Because listen, it's not just one opinion. I'm not saying my opinion is right. I'm just very forceful or aggressive, and I'm very vocal with my opinion. I have this channel, I have these videos, I'm able to do that. It's just my way of doing it. I think it provides really good content too. I really love, me personally, I love recording these videos. I have a lot of fun with them. So that's all it is. It's just opinions. Your opinion is just your opinion. My opinion is just my opinion. They're not facts. If we want to talk about facts, we could do that with the actual facts of one episode or one season versus another, but they're just opinions, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I don't know exactly when this video goes up in relation to the episode 4, but if there is a couple weeks still left, we're going to be doing another community series video, and then I'll be live streaming episode 4 on the channel, and we'll be doing a review of it afterwards, okay? So I really hope to see as many of you guys as possible at that live stream. I really am excited for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.